Going on, movie. Welcome to Movie Rounders Live. We are back for our first show in 2021. I am Matthew, Tony, Bethany, and Daniel, and we're happy to be back with you all.
Yes.
Movies have finally come back into theaters, and we're finally going to do some reviews of movies, TV shows, and we're going to answer a whole bunch of your questions. So we hope that you have a lot of them. So as always, let us know in the comments if you're here, so we make sure that the comments are working and that everything is good to start off this 2021. We are going to go ahead and we're going to jump right in to our first review. Everybody say hi to everybody out here.
Come
That's you guys.
Hi.
All right. So leave us a comment. Let us know you're here. We see Carbs is back, much to Bethany's happiness. And Tim says Bethany is right, is also here. So we got people watching us on Facebook, YouTube. Thank you for joining us here. And we're going to jump right into our first review. And our first review is going to be the Nobody review. So we all went to the theaters since it's not on HBO Max, thankfully. And we are here to review Nobody. We're going to start with Tony. Tony, what'd you think of Nobody?
I loved Nobody. I mean, I know we keep going back to Die Hard with me, but it was one of the first movies that I've seen in a long time that kind of got it right and didn't take itself too serious. The editing was great right from the get-go, the way they show the repetitiveness of his life and just the fast cuts, and it just didn't take itself too serious, but the action sequences were great. It was done by the same guys that did John Wick. It picks up and does better than what John Wick did with it. John Wick started taking itself too serious, and I think that's where it kind of lost its way. Even though it had great action sequences and things like that, it just, to me, the number 2 and number 3 Wick just kind of lost its way. But Nobody was amazing. The lead actor in this just knocks it out of the park. The secondary actors that he works with were pretty good. They weren't used to the best effect, I thought. But all in all, I would watch this. I call this a twofer. I'd go watch it a second time easily. I loved it.
All right, Daniel, tell us what you thought of Nobody.
Oh, my God. If you know Bob Odenkirk, if you love Bob Odenkirk from Breaking Bad, you love him from things like Mr. Show with Bob and David. He's been in everything. He's an amazing writer, prolific actor, writer, creator. He's like one of the top people in Hollywood right now who's making stuff happen. This is a movie that you're going to want to see because it's amazing. I mean, Bob Odenkirk, basically, he's amazing. So this movie was so good. It basically, I mean, it's just one of those movies where you just go like, wow, that was so much fun. And I just had a great time. And it was just like off the chain awesome. I'm not going to go in and spoil anything for anybody. But if you need a good movie to see and you want to go to the movies, this is your chance to go do it because you won't regret it. It was good.
All right, Bethany.
I didn't watch
what
it.
You thought of Nobody.
I didn't watch it.
Bethany did not watch Nobody.
No. I've seen enough middle-aged men killing people movies to last a lifetime. When they make a sequel to Atomic Blonde, which at least they're on, I'll watch that. But I don't really care about middle-aged white men killing people. That's my understanding of the movie. Shut up, Darby. You're a Scorpio. You don't get an opinion.
Darby says shot earlier. Well, I'm the resident. I don't like action movies at all. And I must say, this was really good. I love Bob Odenkirk from Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul. And he's not the first guy you think of when you think of action movie. But it looks like he beefed up a little bit for this role. And what I like about this, what kind of set it apart, is it was very realistic, where Bob Odenkirk wasn't supernatural. It's not like he came through and just beat everybody up and just tore through the house and nobody got a shot in or anything like that. He absolutely gets his butt kicked in this movie. He does. But he does a lot of butt kicking in the movie as well. The premise is fine for what action movie standards are. I liked a lot of this movie. It made me laugh. Not a lot of action movies will make me laugh out loud, and I actually laughed out loud quite a few times. And I was very excited to be back in the theater to watch a movie like this on the big screen. So I must say I enjoyed Nobody. So we'll go back here to Tony. Tony, give us your stars here. How many stars you give it?
It's been so long since we did this. What's our rating? What do we go up to?
5 out of 5.
All right, so I'd give this a 4 easy. Yeah, I mean it's a fun popcorn flick. You don't have to think too hard in it. The characters are all great, and I'd easily go watch it a second time. So that's a solid 4 for me. It's not something the kids need to go watch. There's some language. It's very over the top violence, but for what it is, if you're looking for a great action popcorn flick, if you don't mind it being a middle-aged person like she's saying, then it's a great flick.
All right, so 4 out of 5. Daniel, what would you give it?
Yeah, I'm on the 4 fence as well. I mean, I enjoyed it. It was fun. I think I don't know. I mean, I think we've become so oblivious to gore and violence nowadays that like it's really kind of what big deal, But it was fun the way it's done. If you know Bob Odenkirk and you love his acting, which I do, you love his performances, you love his writing and all that, you're going to love it because, that's who you're going to see. I mean, yeah, some other good actors in there. Christopher Lloyd was in there, a couple of other really good names. But it's a great ensemble, a lot of fun, a solid 4, yeah.
I'm going to give it a 3.5. What?
I was going to interrupt one thing. I don't know who the editor was for this, but the editing makes half the movie. I mean, the editing in this is done so well. The pacing is so good. And the way it kind of does it, and it almost breaks the fourth wall in the way he kind of talks to the audience as he's anticipating and hoping things to happen. It was just amazing.
I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5, and that's not saying that's bad at all. That's actually very high for action movies on my thing. I give it a C+. Usually I do my end of the year grades, and to get a B, you got to be really phenomenal. So 3.5 is a good rating out of me for action movies. So overall,
I'll give it I might watch.
You should watch it. I'm telling you, it's pretty funny.
I'll try to watch it this weekend.
So overall, some pretty good ratings for Nobody. So if you guys see Nobody, let us know in the comments over here what you guys would rate it. All right, so we're going to move on to the next thing that we've watched, and I'm pretty sure Bethany watched this one. We're going to do the Justice League Snyder Cut review. As you know, Justice League came out 2017 with Joss Whedon after Snyder had to step away for family problems that he was having. So they demanded that they release the Snyder Cut, and they released a whole 4 hours on HBO Max. And we sat down and we geared up and we watched the same movie with the same characters, just with more character development and more backstory and 2 more hours to flesh out a turd is all it was. It was 2 hours, 2 more hours to flesh out an actual turd. It's still not a good movie. It's still bottom tier DC. It's still the end of the DCEU. If I were to have my way, just wipe that out. Keep Shazam. Give Wonder Woman, I guess, another chance, even though Wonder Woman 84 was very bad. But it's bad overall, just because it was a bad movie in general. And the people that say it's better than what Whedon put out, well, yeah, if I gave you 2 extra hours to do more stuff, it's probably going to be better. So it's overall a terrible movie. We'll go with Bethany. Bethany, what do you got?
This movie was hot garbage. I don't know the hype behind Zack Snyder. To be honest, the only DC movies I've seen until Justice League came out was Wonder Woman 1 and 2 and Aquaman, and of course Justice League. I never saw Batman versus Superman. I've never seen Man of Steel. I don't care to see Man of Steel. Henry Cavill has all the charisma of a wooden post. The only charisma he has is with Ben Affleck, which was great. I loved their dynamic in the movie. I think Snyder did Batman versus Superman as well, and I watched that after Justice League Snyder Cut. And Justice League Snyder Cut, Batman versus Superman, not good, pretty bad. And the Snyder Cut, really, really bad. I started watching it while I was doing my 30-mile bike ride, and I was very grateful for when that 30 miles ended. Not because it was 30 miles, because it meant I could take a break from the movie and go shower. and then and I was only like an hour and a half in at that point. And and then the final, what was that, 2.5 hours of the movie was just not good. Again, the only highlights of that movie are Ben Affleck as Batman, very good. I would like to see him come back. Yeah, Darby, you always agree with me. Shut up. God, Tim's comment right here, the ancient lamentation music every time Wonder Woman was on the screen. Yeah. Why? But yeah, the only really good parts of that movie were, again, Ray Fisher as Cyborg. He was great. I loved that they got to put in all the stuff that Whedon cut out. And he's such a good actor, and he did such a good job with Cyborg. I really hope that they do something with him again in that role because he was so good. And then Jason Momoa as Aquaman. Again, those were the only good parts of the 2017 version. They were the only good parts of this version. The rest of it, take it or leave it. And honestly, you should leave it. It's not a good movie. The script is not good. If it takes you 4 hours to make a movie good, it's not a good movie. Like we saw this with The Irishman 2 years ago. Yeah. Stupidly long movies don't make them better. And sorry, start telling white men directors no, because they need to hear no. Rian Johnson, Zack Snyder, Joss Whedon needs to be shown an axe to the head. But, we'll leave it there for now.
All right. Daniel, what did you think of Snyder's version of Justice League?
Well, I mean, I liked it better, but the problem with it is the length. Like I literally started watching it, went to sleep, had to go back to where I went to sleep, start again, watch it, end up going to sleep again, then rewind it, wake up, go to sleep. I did like 45 minutes. And then I went to sleep. But then I was like, wow, this is so much better. And then I started over and watched it again. So I literally spent like 8 to 9 hours of my life once I finally kind of figured out how all tied together and that it made sense. Visually, the effects were amazing. It was great. I didn't like the 4:3 aspect ratio. I'd much rather have the 16:9. I know the argument about how you get more like this, but no, it really
made some of the cuts weird because you had Ben Affleck half cut out of something or Jason Momoa half cut out. Did appreciate them fixing a lot of the Gal Gadot scenes that were androgynous and sexist.
Yeah, but I don't know. To me, it was better because they pulled more of the bad guys in to actually make them bad. They, you got a little bit more distinction and contrast between who was good and who was bad. And, and to me, it just was a better linear tell, although it was really long. I did enjoy it better than the first one. And, there was things about it that I didn't like, but as movies go, as DC movies go, anyways, it's, about as good as they can get, right? So I don't know.
Yes, we're doing our review of the Snyder cut of Justice League. Tony, I think
Tim's comment up.
So what'd you think, Tony?
For me, I am not a Snyder fan. I've never liked much of what he's done, and I didn't like the original version of this movie. I didn't think there was a reason to do his cut versus whatever. I just thought it's bad. It's just going to be 4 hours of bad. I, on the other hand, was surprised. I liked it better. I liked the longer character development for Cyborg. I liked the more character development for the different ones. I liked the fact that the bad guys, you understood more, because I never thought the original bad guy was even scary. It just didn't come off as any threat to them. So, and I'm a big proponent of the bad guy's not good, the rest of the movie's not going to be good. So, and then you see that there was other motives behind what was going on with this guy versus the bigger bad guy that got completely cut
Dark side, yeah.
I was surprised. I literally went into this going, oh gosh, 4 hours of my life is just going to be wasted. And I came out going, I actually liked it better. I loved what they showed for the Amazon section, for what they did, the sacrifice they did to drop the whole piece into the ocean, which didn't make it into the Whedon cut. Things like that were great. Backstories to the depth of what they went to try and protect it. So, I came away pleasantly surprised. I still don't think it's a great movie. I think it's better than the last Wonder Woman, which to me right now is one of the worst DC movies ever. It's up there with the original Suicide Squad. But for me, if you kind of like the first one, I think you're going to like the longer one better. If you hated the first one, and I did, I was surprised, and I actually liked it a little better. So I don't think you ignore it if you have the ability to watch it. It doesn't cost you anything extra. You've got HBO Max already. You got half a day to kill. Take a nap in between. Get you something to eat. There is some good character development that I wish wouldn't have been cut out of the original. But I liked it. Is it still a good movie? Like you said, for DC, it's subpar, and that's bad already. But it was better than the first one.
All right, before we do our rankings, let me just answer Zach here. We're going to do a whole bunch of reviews here. We've already did Nobody. This is for Justice League. We've got some more reviews coming up, and then we're going to answer some of your guys' questions. So if you want us to, I know we've seen a whole bunch of these trailers, Mortal Kombat, Suicide Squad, all of those. So if you guys want us to talk about that, save them for the comments at the end, and we'll go through and we'll answer all of your questions towards the end. So we're going to start. Bethany, what would you rate it out of 5 for us?
A 0.5. It's not going to get the Black Christmas. Don't watch this. Like Tony said, like if you want to kill some time, watch it. If you have the opportunity to, while it's free on HBO Max, go ahead and watch it. I think it's going to stay free on HBO Max. It's not like the other movies where like Godzilla versus Kong, where it's free for the month and then you have to pay, or it's not there anymore for a couple months, something like that. But it's not a good movie. I wouldn't go out of my way to watch it. I would find some YouTube that uploaded like all the Cyborg extended scenes and watch those scenes, because those are really, really good. And that's really just about it in terms of what's good and what's not. It was 2 extra hours, 2.5 extra hours with a lot of slow-mo. That was really on Ancient Lamentations anytime Diana's on screen. So.
All right, 0.5. Daniel, what do you got?
Well, I just want to say, I mean, you can have like 4 hours of Gal Gadot like doing nothing, and I'd watch it. I'm sorry, I hate to be that person, but I am. But yeah, it was. I don't know. I want to say I'll give it a 2, just because I mean, it wasn't like the best in the world, but it kind of continued the story along with this current set of actors, and it was. I enjoyed it. It had really good moments, and I think that's a lot of times when you make a movie, that's what you're doing. You're basically stringing along really good movements in a sequence and to tell a story to try to entertain people, and that's what this did. So it's not earth moving or earth shattering. It didn't really do anything new that we didn't really all expect. And that, I think that might have been the biggest disappointment for a lot of people. It wasn't like groundbreaking or anything like that. But it was watchable, and I had a great time with it. And I'll probably at some point watch it again,
So was it watchable though?
Yeah. So what did you rate it, Daniel?
I'd say a 2.
2. All right, Tony?
Give me a 2. Yeah.
I think for me, the first one was I walked out of the first one going, why do people think this Snyder dude's worth the money? I don't get it. I've just never been a fan of his. I walked out of the first movie thinking the exact same thing. I wasn't paying attention as much that Whedon came in and kind of finished it. In my brain, it was all Snyder. So I do.
Oh, you could definitely tell what in that movie was Whedon versus Snyder, Tony.
But I didn't know that they'd had the director swap or any of that.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, oh, it's a Snyder movie. I got to go watch this. And I will tell you, Whedon and Snyder do not mix. And there's no situation in the world where you should do a half one and half the other.
There's no situation where you should have one of them.
Yeah. But if I came away thinking the first movie is like a 1.5, I would give this like a 2.5. I still don't think it was great. It was better than Wonder Woman, the last Wonder Woman. But like I said, if you like if you like the universe, I do like they gave us more of the Flash. I know that character has some issues outside the movie, but I do like the character inside the movie. And I liked that he got more screen time. You learned a little bit more about his backstory and played a pivotal role later on in the movie. I do love we got a lot more Cyborg. That to me is a huge thing that was for a character I thought just did not get it what he deserved in the last movie. So, and I love the more you got of the Amazon section where they kind of covered that backstory and the more of what they gave up to try and stop this bad guy. So I mean, 2.5. Yeah, I wouldn't watch it again. So
I just remembered the Flash's scene with the girl. I guess it was Iris West. The hot dogs.
yeah.
I just remembered that. That's why I started laughing. That was a horribly cringe scene.
I gave the first one a 2. I'll give this one a 2. It's essentially the same thing, just longer, and I still don't care about them. So we're going to move on to our next review, and this review is going to be a TV review. Hopefully most of you have seen this. We'll try not to spoil it to an extent. It's going to be difficult not to do. We'll try and flash up spoiler if we do. But we're going to do our WandaVision review from Disney+. Like I said, hopefully all of you have seen it. We don't do a whole lot of TV show reviews, but we all watched this. I believe we all had a fun time watching it. We're going to start with Tony this time. Tony, give us your thoughts on WandaVision.
I got to say, this is the biggest turnaround I've had in a TV series ever. Like, when you watch a TV series, you either go, I'm kind of digging this, and I'll invest some time and learn more about it. But when the first couple episodes of WandaVision, I'm like, I'm not in this. I'm not digging it. I see what they're doing. It's great. I don't like it. I don't like the whole concept. I don't like where they're headed. I think this is going to be a bomb for them. And then the third episode comes out. It's a little bit better. Fourth episode comes out. Now you've got my interest. I kind of wish it would have picked up at like the third episode, and they would have just moved through those first couple things. But by the time you get to the end, I'm in it. I'm all for this. We're at lunch. We're debating it. We're thinking who's going to be the bad guy. Who's the next big reveal? I mean, we're all into it by the time we get to the last of the season. So a huge turnaround for me. I don't want to get into what the difference was from the start to the end if you haven't seen it, but give it some episodes. If you start watching it and you're confused by what they're doing, it gets so much better and it becomes kind of what you expect, but by the time it gets to the end. So I loved it. I ended up loving it.
Daniel, with the WandaVision behind you, what did you think of WandaVision?
Well, I really enjoyed it. It's like Tony said, it was a slow burn in a way, and if you don't like slow burns and you want to just, I just want all the good right up front. Well, you're not going to get that. You're going to have to let it heat up and warm up and cook, and then you're going to get the good, and it's going to be great, and then you're going to really enjoy it, and you're going to be super happy you watched it. It's a great series. It's great. Ties into the whole Marvel universe, and they did a really good job of kind of coming back into that and sort of, revealing things in this that you're not going to get in the movies. So you really need to watch this. If you don't watch this, you're gonna miss out because of the next stuff that's coming out is going to tie into this. So this is a series that you got to see. You got to see it. Elizabeth Olsen, Paul Bettany, Catherine Hahn was in it. Amazing. Just all these amazing people that are in it. And it reveals a new thing in the story and in the arc of everything. I'm not going to say anything, but it's an essential part of the Marvel universe, and you got to watch this if you're a fan. And yeah,
WandaVision is absolutely incredible, and I loved every single episode. The first 3 episodes just were laugh out loud funny. They hooked me into it. You go from the 50s, 60s, 70s. I love the vibe that all of those episodes had. It was interesting to go back and watch those kind of TV episodes because, of course, they don't make those type of TV episodes anymore. It was amazing to look at the aspect ratios of how they would put them together, and especially when you get to episode 4 and then the aspect ratio starts changing because they changed in different worlds. Just to figure out all of the characters' backstories. They bring in so many characters that you love from other film franchises in the MCU. The acting in this is amazing. Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany together, just in one scene, was the best acting that I've probably seen in all of the MCU. They knock it out of the park with each other. It's just such great chemistry. I think it got bogged down with people trying to do too many fan theories, kind of like what happened with Game of Thrones, and that's where you get some people that were disappointed. But this didn't disappoint me at all. I absolutely loved every episode of this. It's probably the first episode where I would get up at about 4:30 in the morning to watch the episode so that nothing would be spoiled for me the next day while I was at work or anything, because I can't avoid the internet with what I do. I would definitely recommend you watch this because it's going to be a huge leap going forward in the MCU. Loved everything about it. Bethany?
I was hooked from the beginning. Like, they released those first 2 episodes back to back, and I was like, I mean, we're spoiled by Netflix. We get all the episodes right then and there, and we had to wait for this. And it really made this show fun because you had to wait to see what was going to happen next. You couldn't just like speed run it and get through it real quick. But I was hooked from the beginning of the show. It's so good. And spoilers, so if you don't want to hear anything real quick, cover your ears. I am so happy that Evan Peters is not becoming Pietro Maximoff. That, like, when he showed up, like, they're watching it, and I was like, they're gonna do it. They cut to the back of the head. He had Aaron Taylor Johnson's wig on. And if you know me, I don't like Evan Peters' Quicksilver. I love Aaron Taylor Johnson. I believe that was one of the stupidest things they could have done, especially with Joss Whedon. Everything he does is stupid. But when they kill off Aaron Taylor Johnson's Quicksilver in the first movie he appears in, stupidest thing that you could have done. And so when they bring this, they cut to the back of the head, that's the wig, that is his wig. And then they cut to the face and it's Evan Peters. I was so mad. I was so mad. And then it turns out that it's literally just Agatha, being up to no good. But off of spoilers now, this show is so good. I remember people being like, I don't think it's going to be good. And then like you watch it and it's like, no, this is literally one of the best things ever. He'll have to get used to it, Darby.
I'm holding it in very well, Darbs.
It's well-deserved hate, Matthew. But yeah, no, like if you, like I've been telling people, like, watch this show. I don't do the try to figure out what's going to happen thing, because that's, in my opinion, that's how you ruin your enjoyment of a show, because whatever you come up with is not gonna, whatever they do is not gonna live up to it. It's like, it just almost always happens that way. So I remember having people like, what do you think's gonna happen? I think so-and-so is this and so-and-so is this and this and this. And I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm just watching the show. I'm not trying to figure anything out. I will say that for me personally, the finale episode kind of was a little bit of a letdown, but it was a good episode. It just, to me, like, it was just kind of like lower somehow than the rest of it. It didn't, and I don't know if like I just had high expectations going into that. And of course, I mean, I did what I just said I don't normally do. Like, I didn't have theories about it, but I was hoping, I don't know what I was hoping for or anything like that. It just kind of felt like a little bit of a letdown, but it was still overall like a really good finale. It sets up Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, where Elizabeth Olsen is going to come into this role very well. I'm very excited for what's going to come from this. I really want to know what Vision's up to now, because he just kind of, flew off there and he's like, I'm alive again, I guess. I don't know, but I'm very excited for this show, and I'm really glad that we got it. It was an absolute gem. Marvel knocked it out of the park. So
what would you rate this series there, Bethany?
Oh, 5 out of 5 easily. It's 9 episodes, I think, and they're about 30 to 40-ish minutes. I think the finale gets a little bit longer, towards like an hour. Yeah. But first couple episodes, they go through real quick, and most of the episodes when you're watching it, I mean, you go through them quick. Like nothing in the episodes feels extraneous or like it's just filler to get you through to something else. Thing in the show matters. So, good show. Please watch it. Do whatever you have to.
Daniel, what would you rate it?
I was gonna say, we'll see you, Ryan. Good to see you, man. Yeah, but I have to agree. I say a 5 out of 5. This is a must see. You gotta see. You cannot miss it. Show. It's just amazing. It's so good. If you like a build, which to me it was, it started very high, and then at the end of it, to me, the end was just like the ultimate finale. And it just keeps building your interest. And it's just like Bethany said, every week I was sitting there going, I don't know if I can handle this stress because I want to see the next episode. Like as soon as it was over, I was like, I want to see the next one. And I was like, well, crap, gotta wait. It's one of those. But now that it's all out and released, I guess you can go see it and you can binge it. So go do it.
I'd probably give it a 4.5 out of 5. Had everything I was looking for. It's probably not something I would just run back and watch all over again now that I've seen it. With that said, go watch the whole thing because it's going to set up so many things. And I did like that it had a beginning and it had an end. It wasn't something that just tried to end on a cliffhanger because they were like, oh, this is getting a whole lot of views, so let's drag this out for as long as we can.
Yeah, I think that they're pretty good about keeping. I think a lot of their shows, except for like Mandalorian, really so far are just one-offs. Like you get a season and then bye.
Yeah, a little bit of a cliffhanger.
Yeah, but we have a movie
coming forward. So, at 4.5. Tony, what would you say?
I'd say that too. It's not something I'd probably go back and watch again, but it started slow for me. I just wasn't getting that whole initial vibe with the way they did the first episodes, but by the end I loved it. I wouldn't give it a 5, but I think a 4.5 is fair.
All righty. If you guys have seen WandaVision, give us whatever you would rate it down here in our comment section as we're going to move on to our next review. And our next review is going to stay right in the Disney wheelhouse. We've seen the first 3 episodes of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Not a whole lot that we could spoil, I guess, in the first 3 episodes, but we'll try not to give away too many plot points, I guess. When they announced the WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier, and Loki, this one was probably the second weakest one that I really didn't want to see. With Loki being, I absolutely could care less if I see Loki at all.
Loki's just going to be a fun thing.
Every trailer I've seen for Loki does not interest me whatsoever. But we're talking about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. The first episode was a slow burn for me. I liked what they were doing with the Winter Soldier. I didn't really care much for what was going on with the Falcon. And then the ending happened. And I was like, oh, now I kind of see where you're going to shift this whole thing. And now it's just been phenomenal to watch. The next 2 episodes that have come out, they've built up more and more and more, and I've actually really gotten into this. It has more of that Captain America's The Winter Soldier feel to it, where they're trying to be spies and different things going on and trying to track people down. And I love the fact, spoiler, you saw it in the trailer, I believe, but I love the fact that they brought Zemo back. I love him. He's not the bad guy that's going to kill you, the whole Avengers, but he has the brains. He's got the dark, ominous tones. He's so good in that role. Like I said, we've seen the first 3 episodes, and I'm digging them as the episodes go. So I'm really liking the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Daniel, what do you think?
Well, I was going to say, I mean, if you know me and you know my reviews, I'm not a fan of regular people in superhero movies. I like people, if it's a superhero movie and everybody has special powers, I want everyone to have special powers. I don't really like it when just regular people hang out with superheroes and say, hey, I'm a superhero too, just because I'm a normal person, blah, blah, blah. I don't like that. That really bugs me. The dude with the bow and the arrow, that's my least favorite.
Hawkeye?
I hate it. I don't like Hawkeye. I'm sorry. It just does nothing for me because
Black Widow.
Black Widow.
Well, that might be different, but let me say this. With this being said, the Falcon is amazing. Like, I mean, as far as like top of the food chain, people with abilities and being able to do stuff, the Falcon is amazing. Winter Soldier, he's on the red medicine or whatever, so yeah, he's got a bionic arm, it's cool. But like, to me though, those two are amazing, and this show is great, and it's going to be fun to see how it all unfolds. And I can't wait. I don't know how much of this whole, I've got the red medicine, now I've got it, now I'm strong, and I don't know how much I can take of that, because that's not really, to me, that's sort of weak plot storyline stuff. But I get it, like I understand it. It's a necessary thing. But we'll see how this goes. I've been really impressed. I kind of feel like it sort of went down from the beginning at one. It's like 1, 2, 3. But I'm hoping that when the next episode comes out, I'll be lifted back up and really get into it, enjoy it. I'm just not a fan of the regular people. I mean, I like superheroes to have special superheroes, and it's almost like there's a hierarchy between regular people. How they were like kind of saying, well, you're not really all that great, to one of the characters. You're just a regular dude, and you want to say, well, y'all are just regular dudes too, I mean, so, I don't know. You know what I'm talking about.
Matt's gone. Okay, time for me to take over the show. Hi. Matt's gone. I'm here. All right. So I'm going to do my review real quick. Release the Zemo cut. I want the full dance scene. There was more time to that dance scene in the Madripoor episode. I want that. I don't care about the Snyder cut. I want the full dance scene. I lost my train of thought there. They need to release that. But so this show is only 6 episodes. It's not 9 like WandaVision. It's only 6. They gotta start picking it up, because this is not it's not hitting right. Oh, apparently they released the full dance scene this afternoon, according to Tim's comment over on YouTube. So I'm gonna go find that as soon as we're done here. I'm very excited to see that. But they gotta start picking it up, because I like it, but it's losing my interest. I'm the opposite of you, Tony, I guess, where like WandaVision, they didn't really have you, and then it got you. That when you've got 6 episodes, I mean, I need them to be doing more. Though I will say, something that I've seen is they had to go back and change things in the script, because you'll know, but then like they never mentioned vaccine again. They had to change stuff because of the COVID outbreak. They didn't want to bring too much, something that really resembled the pandemic and everything, into the show. Because the show was obviously written before the pandemic really started. So that's why some of that stuff is like mentioned, but then dropped. Like when they first meet the girl they think is the hostage, and Bucky's like, here's the vaccines, but then they never mention the vaccines again. Or the character that the girl sees, Dina, who is very sick and everything, that ties into the original, I guess, one of the original storylines for the show, and we run into a problem there. So they changed that. I'm hopeful that the next 3 episodes, the final 3 episodes, will be a lot better than the first 3. Not to say the first 3 weren't good, they're just not moving quick enough for how short of a season that they have. Either the episode needs to be longer, or you're going to have to be like booking better. It, and they're not booking it. They're Steve. Steve is lapping him. They got to get it going. All right, Tony, what do you think?
I'm kind of on board with you. I haven't even watched the 3rd episode yet.
Really?
It's like once
you need to watch it. It's very fun.
Once I got hooked on WandaVision, I wasn't getting up at 4:30 in the morning like Matt, but I was getting up I was staying up late the night it came out to catch it and watch it, and was talking about it the next day. I just haven't got excited about this. I'm watching it. It's okay. I do think there is some interesting storyline they're doing. Oh, Matt's popping back, and let me add him. I do think there's some interesting storylines they're doing with the whole superhero power versus non-superhero. I think that there's that this gives you some of that kind of what you're talking about, Daniel, about he's just a regular Joe, and so I think they're using this as a way. I
want to know what's going on with White Boy Cap over here. they've got him on something. There's no way.
Yeah.
He's on
Right.
some of that.
Yeah,
He's
that's a
on
good
that
point.
red juice.
We have from the first episode. I said that dude.
Yeah.
He's
He's a bad
juiced.
guy.
Yeah.
He's
I think it's-
juicing.
That's
I
not.
think it's
Yeah.
too obvious.
That's
It's
not.
too
Yes.
obvious.
That's just an educated guess. I was like, man,
Yes.
this guy's going to end up being on the bad side.
He's juicing.
It's too
Now, I
obvious.
will tell you, I believe, because I thought it was complicated for Cap to make Falcon be, the new Captain America without the extra powers. I believe there's going to be some situation that's going to put the Falcon where he has to make the call that he's going to have to take it to do something to save someone, and he will then have the power. But I think,
I think it'd be interesting, but I don't think that they should do that.
I know, but I think they're going to put that as a dilemma for him.
Yeah.
You got to make that choice. Because to me, because this guy, he's doing all this amazing stuff. And I think he's, from the get-go, he's the one,
Yeah.
But I don't want to get any more into the plot line. You got to watch it. But like I said, for me, I do not find myself worrying too much about it, trying to catch it. I haven't even watched the third episode. So just like you said, Bethany, it's got to kick it up a notch. And right now, it just hasn't got me that interested. I will watch the next episode tonight, though, so I can see this dance scene.
Oh,
Yes.
alrighty. So I'm not sure exactly where everybody left off there as I got booted out.
I started my review, Matt.
Okay. Has Daniel talked about it?
Yeah, Daniel was the first one to talk about it.
So good. It sounds like
Everyone has
talked
talked about it. I handled the show perfectly fine.
She
I
took
got
over.
you.
I think
All right. So it's not a show that's really done yet, so it's not really one that we can really give a star rating for. But as you can hear from our reviews, when I got back, it sounded like it was mostly positive. So continue watching The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and that's our review of that. So now we're going to get into the review of the big one, the one that made me oh so happy, and it is Godzilla versus Kong. And let me tell you why it made me oh so happy. Because it tipped the box office back to where it should be.
$32.2 million debut.
Which is amazing for theaters. So stop watching it on HBO Max, which I'm sure
I watched
Tony
on
and
HBO
Daniel
Max.
did.
I
And
did.
Bethany, and start watching in theater. All right, so here's the thing. You go into a Godzilla vs. Kong movie. We've seen the Godzilla movies. We've seen the Kong Skull Island movie. And a lot of people were like, we don't want, the human stories. We just want to see monsters fight. So the director's like, gotcha. And we drop right into the monsters fighting. Godzilla comes in. It's just so good. Kong, so good. I'm not going to spoil anything. It's a brand new movie. I want everybody to go see it. It's only been out for like a week. So we're not going to give any spoilers here, Bethany. No spoilers at all. But here's the thing. If you want to see two titans, as they are called in the movie, go some rounds with each other, with a lot of fun, just turn your brain off and not worry so much about what the side characters are doing. This is an excellent movie that you should definitely go see, as Daniel's got his background changed now. It's everything I wanted, just from a big Titan fighting movie. Really enjoyed it. Tony, what'd you think?
I've just never been excited about these kinds of movies. And for me, I put special effects a lot of time over the story because I'm such a big special effects person. I appreciate the unsung hours that these guys put into these things to make these as good as and they never get the play they need. The movie gets it all, but I mean, if you watch a movie like this, there is hundreds of thousands of hours of working behind the scenes to pull this off and make it just seem like you're really watching two things 50 stories tall fighting in a city. So special effects are amazing. But I come away from it just like, I don't know if I'd watch it again. I mean, it was interesting. They tried to inject some storyline to it. I like some of the characters. The special effects were stunning. I mean, I do like how they gave Kong more of a personality.
Mm-hmm.
You saw it. I think they did a little bit with Godzilla, but you really got to appreciate Kong other than a Titan. So and that I was like, all right, they did this well. I'm rooting for them, in a way that you wouldn't really care. It's just two big Titans fighting to see who wins. So I like how they did that, but I don't know if I'd watch it a second time. I think out of all the ones I've seen, I liked it the best. So that's saying something, you know. But I'm sure if we talk about Suicide Squad and they've got another kaiju or a titan,
Kaiju.
I'm not.
Kaiju.
You know, oh, great! Here comes it. You know, they're going to stick in there. But you know, if you love special effects and you like big things fighting in cities, knocking buildings down, it's the best thing on the block right now.
Bethany, what'd you think? Do not give away the third act either.
I love Godzilla. He's my favorite Titan. Mothra is also up there. May she rest in peace and rise again. So Godzilla, King of the Monsters was okay. I enjoyed it. It was okay. They had so much. They had there was just so much of the human storyline, and I was like, I don't care about the humans in this. I want to see monsters.
Mm-hmm.
I came for monsters. I want to see monsters. The actor was like, I got you. You're getting all the monsters. It's like, you know, a couple monsters, but it's like all the monsters. And the human storylines in this, of course, were better. If you want to see movies where the bad guys get what they deserve, definitely watch this. That's not really a spoiler. Just watch the movie. You will enjoy it. Godzilla versus Kong. Of course, I'm rooting Godzilla all the way in this. Godzilla is my boy. I love Kong. Kong is great. He's super duper. But there's a reason that he didn't show up to King of the Monsters. Because he would. Definitely, I really recommend getting out and seeing this movie. I watched it on HBO Max. I'll go back to theaters once I get my second shot in a couple weeks. Mm-hmm. But definitely watch this if you get a chance. It's like Tony said, it's probably one of Kong Skull Island. I think is still better than it. Skull Island is one of the best Titans movies that they've ever done in terms of Kong, the character, and the human storyline that they had in it. But this is right up there with it. You know, it sets up, I think there's a Kong movie coming up next year, the year after that. So it sets up a good story, movie for plot line for that. And I mean, there's a couple of things in this that I'm just kind of meh. But I mean, again, it's a movie with a giant lizard that breathes radioactive fire. So I don't really care about the science here. I do agree with Darby. They needed to get better security up in there. I mean, that was shameful.
Daniel, what did you think?
Well, I mean, to me, it was great. And I'm not going to give anything away, but it's like a classic line, a storyline of enemies and, that whole thing. And, who wins, or you combine them to beat a common foe, it's like that whole thing. I mean, you're not going to be disappointed with the storyline when you go see this movie. Because it's pulling stuff out. It was surprise. I mean, that twist there at the end, I wasn't expecting that. I should have expected it, but I didn't. So I was just like, oh, wow. Okay, cool. That's neat. And, and it's so weird because it's just there's so many things these prehistoric animals, they're from whatever, blah, 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 and they're charging cell phones and stuff, they're charging their weapons, and they got all this radioactive power to, can cut through the planet and solid rock through the earth. Oh my God. I'm not giving anything away, but it's just crazy. But to me, it's always interesting to me to see the human element, like Bethany says, what's the human storyline to pair with.
I don't care about the
storyline. Yeah, exactly. But it's just funny to me that they would pull, Millie Bobby Brown back out of the, but it's cool. I mean, I love her to death, but it's just to me that she didn't really have a main part, although she was integral to the story.
She wasn't really integral to the story. I mean, I wish they were Kong somehow, or even, I mean, it's alluded to in the King of the Monsters, end credits that Mothra's coming back. Mothra, we know Mothra's coming back. If you watch the credits, that's not a spoiler. It's in the credits of that movie. Yeah. I wish they would have tasted at that in this movie because she had that connection with Mothra, or at least that's what we're shown in the previous movie. But I wish they would have had some kind of connection with her and Godzilla, or even just bring Aaron Taylor Johnson back because he and Godzilla had a moment in the 2014 movie. They looked into each other's eyes. Okay. They had a moment and I want that again.
You can have that. It's okay. Look,
Well,
but,
they
look,
need to bring him back.
okay, but like to me, it's the whole, it's the whole classic tale of alphas and somebody, I'm an alpha. No, I'm an alpha. Okay. Oh, you got to bow down. Oh, there's this whole battle and all this stuff. But, and then you mix the human side of it into it. And then there's like all this crazy, weird intro planet or whatever. And you're just like, what is going on with this? But like, if I had one complaint, to me, the scale was a little bit off, because I think Kong at one point was sort of small, and then he was sort of Godzilla size, and then he was small again. It seemed like he was smaller when he was interacting with the little girl, but when he was interacting with Godzilla, he was like the size of like a 50-story building, and then all of a sudden he was in a dome, and he was interacting with this little kid, and he was kind of, it's like you kept kind of, and I'm just thinking on the VFX side of it.
Yeah, I think that's more of like the struggle. Like Pacific Rim, the first one, did it really well, where like they got the aspect ratio done really good. So all the shots, like that looks like a giant robot going to fight a kaiju. Versus this, I guess because they had the little girl and she's real and she's there. It messed with stuff a little bit, but overall, I think they did a really good job. I mean, I don't think he's supposed to.
That's hilarious.
Daniel, what would you rate?
He had his pumps on.
Okay, well, I'm gonna have to go with a solid 3.5. I enjoyed it. I will watch it again. I mean, to me, it didn't like burn down the house with excitement. I mean, as far as like life-changing events, things happening, but I did enjoy it. I had a good time. There was some twist in there that I didn't see, and that's really important for me to enjoy a movie. So I got to go with a solid 3.5.
All right, Bethany, what would you rate it?
I'm gonna give it a. I really enjoyed it. I think it's great. It's a really good monster movie. I love my monsters. If you like monsters, you're gonna enjoy it. If you don't, I think you will also enjoy it, because who doesn't actually love monsters? I'm very excited for any sequels that come out of this. Of course, I think there's another Godzilla movie coming. That's one I'm looking forward to. I'm excited for the Kong sequel that's going to come. I'm just really interested in where they go from here with it. Because they kind of, if there wasn't a Kong movie, it has very succinct endings. So you could be like, yeah, okay, the monster universe is okay. We're living with giant monsters. There doesn't need to be another movie. That's my take on it. But like, I think that there's doing another Kong movie. I'm not going to complain about another Kong movie. So it's good. Watch it.
Tony, what would you rate it?
You cut out. You cut out when you said the number. What was your score?
Oh, 4.
4. Okay. For me, and it may be because I'm not up on the lore, the whole Middle Earth stuff. There's a section where you get these doors that I'm wondering who made these 100-foot doors that they go through. I mean, there's some stuff in there that you literally kind of got to turn your brain off unless there's some backstory I don't understand.
It's Kong's people.
I've never seen him make complex stuff. So, maybe they're making doors and stuff. I don't know. I've just never seen him do anything that looked like he could do carpentry.
It's because he's the only one left.
Okay. He's right.
He doesn't have any family. The skull crawler is hurt his family.
But it did what you go there for, which is some good action, good popcorn flick, great special effects. I would probably go watch this again in the theater. I watched it on HBO Max. I think you lose a little something on the scale and the grandeur of this. So, I'd like to go back with you guys at some point and catch it on the large screen before it goes away. But, yeah, I'd probably give it a 3.5. 2. That's where I'm at.
I'll go with a 3 out of 5. Also, big monster titans fighting each other. It was good for what I went in there to watch. But again, it's not. I mean, it's a C movie for me overall. Those are the reviews that I told the gang to do and to watch. And now I said we would make time for some questions. So if you have any questions, let us know in the comments. Our first one, of course, came from Zach, who is dying for us to talk about the Suicide Squad trailer. And I apologize, Zach. I believe you said you were 11 years old. Here's the thing. the first the Bohemian Rhapsody trailer that I saw for the first Suicide Squad was one of my favorite trailers of all time. And I'm like, there's no way this movie could be bad. That trailer was so good. And that movie was awful. Very, very bad. So now you get James Gunn, who I love Guardians of the Galaxy stuff that he does. And they put out the trailer. And that trailer is very bad. Very bad. That Suicide Squad, the new one that James Gunn just put out was very terrible. So maybe since the trailer's very bad, maybe the movie will be good then. So that's kind of the way that they're going with the Suicide Squad. I don't care about any of the characters. Listen, Margot Robbie playing Harley Quinn was great in Suicide Squad. It was less great in Birds of Prey, and she really looks bad in this one. She just does. I'm sorry. I'm getting less and less enthralled with Margot Robbie playing Harley Quinn. And she was the best thing about the first one. Don't get me wrong. But it just seems like they're turning that character even worse each iteration that they do. Some of the new characters that they're introducing, I don't really care about. I guess we'll watch John Cena do John Cena things and Pete Davidson do Pete Davidson things.
How are you going to see John Cena do John Cena things? He's invisible. You can't see him.
You can't even see the guy. I'm definitely gonna watch it. I'm gonna go into it with an open mind. Turn off the other Suicide Squad thing that I watched. I don't think it looks good at all. At least the trailer didn't. So hopefully the movie's better. Daniel, what'd you think?
Well, I mean, I have very high hopes for this movie because we've got some really interesting people that I absolutely love. If you're familiar with Michael Rooker, he's one of my favorite bad guys from The Walking Dead. He's going to be in it. We've got Sylvester Stallone does the voice of King Shark, and you got Idris Elba in there. I mean, come on, this cast is going to be amazing, along with Margot Robbie, who you cannot go wrong with usually, and it's going to be really good. Like, I mean, I think I guess I'm a cup is flowing over person. I try to have a positive attitude, and let me tell you, I got really high hopes for this. I hope it doesn't let me down. I hope we can come back, watch this movie, and have a great review. And that's all I'm going to say.
All right. Tony?
I'm kind of a reverse on the Margot Robbie thing. I loved her in the first one. I wasn't a huge fan of Birds of Prey, but I feel like she's coming back around again for this third one. I mean, the scenes and stuff I saw with her in it, I thought were going to be pretty good. I'm not a big kaiju thing. They're throwing that in, but I'm trying to think about what I thought the first time I saw Guardians of the Galaxies with a raccoon in a tree. I mean, he can take, that director can take something that you think is quirky and out of the world, is going to be a bust, and he can do some magic with it. I mean, what he did with Guardians of the Galaxy is phenomenal. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt right now. And I'm kind of looking forward to it, especially got this creepy cat thing. He's got these characters where he can do some things that are just going to be awkward and weird and crazy. And so I'm looking forward to it. I mean, it can't be as bad as the first one.
You don't know.
So I'm looking forward to it.
Bad thing, what'd you think of the trailer?
This movie is going to be great for 3 reasons. For 3. One, for first, John Cena. Like, nobody's putting enough respect on this man's name. John Cena is good. John Cena is about they've already said that TV show apparently. So whatever that means, that John Cena's legit. He's very good. He's about to be the scene stealer for this. The scene stealer for the trailer. It's just the absolute best. He's great with his comedic timing. He can do serious very well. I've watched wrestling long enough to know that John Cena is amazing. Shut up, Darby. You're a Scorpio. You don't get an opinion. Reason number 2, King Shark. Half man, half shark.
Yeah,
Enough said.
Sylvester Stallone. Yeah.
That's Stallone.
Yeah, it's Sylvester Stallone.
Oh, I did not know that. Okay.
Yeah. Reason number 3.
His voice. Yeah.
Giant starfish kaiju. I'm getting the monsters, okay? 3 reasons. John Cena, King Shark, love sharks, and a giant monster. It's gonna be good. Like, I don't have really an opinion about this. I don't know as much about DC characters as I know Marvel characters. It looks fun. I'm gonna have fun. I remember what they said about Guardians of the Galaxy. WWE didn't want anything to do with Dave Bautista and Guardians of the Galaxy. They're like, that's gonna tank, and then it becomes one of the biggest box office sensations. And they're like, hey Dave, come on back, let's be buddies again. Like, they basically told him, like, they laughed in his face about so I mean, like, I don't have any expectations, so I'll probably enjoy it more than you guys do if it turns out to be bad. But I don't think it's going to be bad. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, it's all characters. Like, there's Suicide Squad because they get sent on the missions where no one's going to care if they die. And that's going to be what makes it fun. Now, I enjoyed some of the characters from the previous movie. And I wish that they were coming back. You know, like Croc. And I don't know. He is not.
That's funny.
Oh, he is not. But yeah, so I think it's gonna be fun.
All right, Zach, I hope we answered your question on the Suicide Squad. It looks like we have just a few more questions in here. We'll try to wrap these up here quite quick.
Okay.
Go off on the Mighty Ducks about Adam Banks. I'm not sure what they did dirty about Adam Banks.
It's not really been like revealed yet, so I can't really say it, but I'm gonna talk about the Mighty Ducks Game Changers.
Oh yes, I do. We'll talk about that. And then Ryan Johnson with the Knives Out sequels on Netflix. So Bethany, if you want to talk about Game Changers real quick, what do you got?
Okay, so I better begin an explanation as for why Gordon Bombay has reverted back to Mighty Ducks 1 Gordon Bombay. He, like, also, since I've gotten into hockey this past year, I'm watching this and I'm just like, that's not how hockey works. Yeah. I did enjoy it. Like, that's not how hockey works. It's not as bad as this other show on Netflix called Zero Chill. That if someone asks me about that, I will rant about that too. But no, like, it's good. It's a kid's show. It still has a lot of the heart that the first one did so far. I enjoy all the kids. I don't really care about the main actress lady. I never liked her in Gilmore Girls, so maybe I just have a grudge then. Yeah. I never liked her character in Gilmore Girls, so maybe that's like just been tainted for me. But I'm looking forward to the rest of the episodes. I'm always excited to watch that one a little bit more than I am excited to watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It's cute, it's fun, it's a lot like the it's like a lot like the movies that came out. And they are bringing back some of the original Mighty Ducks in some of the episodes. So I'm excited to see that, even though they did do my guy dirty. And I'll talk about that when that happens. But and I was also excited to see they brought the guy that plays Riley from Letterkenny. Have you ever seen Letterkenny on Hulu? It's very funny. It's set in Canada. It's in Canada. It's hilarious. If you have Hulu, watch it. It's not PG-13 at all, but watch that. He is a hockey character in that, and I was very tickled when they brought him in for this as a hockey player. It's just like, oh, he's getting typecasted. But if you're not watching Game Changers, definitely watch it. It's just so fun.
So when Disney did their announcement for their lineup, and they announced Game Changers, I was more excited for that than anything else they spoke about. And I love Star Wars and MCU, but this was my most thing. So I've watched both episodes that have come out, and the nostalgia just hits. They've got the original theme music. My guess is Gordon Bombay is upset because of what the Ducks have become.
Yeah.
That's probably what reverts him back. But it's nostalgic for me, and I love everything that they're doing with it, and I can't wait to see how they play out the rest of the season. So I'm enjoying it myself. I know
and you can watch it with your kids too.
Yeah, I know you two probably haven't watched Game Changers yet, but you guys can go ahead and speak on the Ryan Johnson $100 million for Knives Out sequels. So Tony, what are your quick thoughts on that?
From what I remember of Knives Out, I liked it. It was a strange character that he played. For him, for his acting and his accent and stuff, but all in all, I think I remember thinking it was pretty fun, for what it was. So it had some twists and it kept me interested. I think that's a lot of money for some sequels for a movie I don't think did that well, but these streaming services are throwing some big money around right now.
For real.
Daniel, what do you think about that news?
Well, I mean, I think it's great. I mean, if you can get it, take it. I mean, I wouldn't turn it down. I promise you. And all I can say is just it better be great, or otherwise, dude's gonna catch some flack. I mean,
More flack.
More flag. Yeah,
that's a lot of dough. Yeah.
All right, and then we had one more question here before we sign out, unless somebody else wants to sneak another one in here. This is coming out here in 2 weeks, I believe. Mortal Kombat. Which character looks the most improved from the 90s film? So we'll start with Bethany, Mortal Kombat. What
Matt, do you think I've seen a movie from the 90s? Do you really think I've seen a movie from the 90s? No, I have not seen a movie from the 90s.
That's why I started with you.
I'm excited about it. It looks really cool. There's a YouTube channel called Corridor, and it's their VFX artists, and they'll do videos talking about VFX stuff in movies, or they'll talk about like stuntmen. They'll have stuntmen and women who actually work in these movies come in, and they'll review like stunt scenes and everything like that. It's really cool. You should definitely check them out. But I watched their review, all their VFX stuff they're talking about the VFX in the trailer so far, and it looks like really cool. I don't know really anything about Mortal Kombat. I've played the game like one time. I got freaking murdered. But I like a good murdery film. It looks like it's going to be as just bloody as the game. Everything looks really cool. I don't know who anyone is, so I hope they tell me, because otherwise I'm going to be sitting there. I'm going to have like a little game pamphlet and be like cross-checking like everything, like what's going on. So, but I think it's going to be fun.
Daniel, what do you think?
I'm really looking forward to it. I'm one of those special effects people. I mean, I just like y'all are. I mean, and like I mean, to me, just the evolution of computers and what they can do. I'm just looking forward to that. I know it's going to be fun. I don't think we're going to be disappointed by it. I don't know any of the actors that are in it. Maybe I should know. Maybe I should know all the martial arts actors that are going to be in it, but I don't know not even a single one of them. But I promise you, it's probably going to be really good. Just because, I mean, that's a great movie. I mean, that's just a great series. I mean, to me, you can never go wrong with them. They're just fun. They're exciting. They're action packed. It's all this crazy special skills and stuff like that. Just for that reason alone, it's worth watching. Definitely.
Tony?
But I don't know who's in it. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's a movie based on a game throughout the last 2 decades or however long they've been making movies on this game.
3 decades?
3 decades. I mean, I wasn't super excited about it when I heard they were doing it. Then I saw the special effects and stuff, and it looked like they've got a budget, so it's not going to
like the blood like freezing and everything.
Yeah. It doesn't feel like it's a B-rated movie. They got a nice budget. I'm just hoping that it has a little bit of story wrapped into this game movie.
Yeah.
A little bit of the character development, because these are characters we know nothing about. I didn't recognize any of them either. So you got to get me invested in some of these characters to care about them. But it looks like it's going to be interesting. So.
All right. So just going back to your question there, Darby, who looks the most improved? I love the 90s action flick. Like I said, it's very 90s. The theme song is very 90s. It might be the best theme song ever for a movie. It's that good. But really, all of them look most improved. Scorpion in the original, he was just kind of there. Kind of just fought a little bit and then helped out Liu Kang. He looks like the biggest deal in this entire trailer, like the deal he should look like. He's got the best power there is. Then you look at Scorpion, you're going to get his backstory. Kano, who died in the first few seconds of his fight with Sonya in the original.
We're all sitting here like we don't know who these people are.
His accent is so good. Of course, Liu Kang is just Liu Kang.
Can't wait to see it.
He's going to be the best one of them all.
Who's the ice?
The ice one is Sub-Zero.
Okay.
The one who says "Get over here," that's Scorpion. and then Sonya.
because he uses he yanks him.
Yeah, get over here, and then Sonya just kind of the one who leads it all. She's the female lead character. And
Okay, she's gonna be my favorite.
She's in the original in the 90s. She had beef with Kano because Kano killed her partner, and then all of a sudden he just dies. But in this trailer, he looks like he's having a grand old time. So he might be your most improved person. This whole movie looks stacked. It looks so good. I love how they open with the opening scene and Sub-Zero's just ripping a dude's arms off, and you're like, "That's Jax. That's how his arms got ripped off." See, I know a little bit more about Mortal Kombat here than the ones that are looking at me funny.
I'm excited.
My wife loves the original Mortal Kombat. We actually watched it a month ago just to kind of go back and just watch it again. It is not a movie for today. It's very, very 90s. But this new one looks really good. I had fun with the old one. Now, stay away from the sequel. The sequel might be the worst movie in history. Stay away from that. But this new one looks great, and I can't wait to see it.
Is it worse than Black Christmas?
Oh, the second movie was the worst thing ever. You just have to watch it. They took everybody's favorite character from the first movie, and they kill him in the first 5 minutes of the second. So,
wow. That's a good way to keep people around.
The acting, the special effects. A lot of people say The Room's the worst movie. Mortal Kombat Annihilation gives it the first money. I promise you that. So, with all those reviews, answering all of your questions, that's going to do it for tonight's Movie Rounders Live. We thank you for watching us here in 2021. As new movies come out, we're going to come out with a bunch of new movie reviews. We're going to have our Mortal Kombat movie review out here as well. We might do some quick hitters just to get out some quick reviews, and then we'll build actual shows around them. We've got summer movies coming, so we'll let you know what we're excited for the summer. And with that, I'm Matt, Tony, Bethany, and Daniel. Thank you for watching Movie Rounders Live. And if you play chess, we'll see you on Sunday, Dumont Plaza. Thanks, guys. Good night.